The start of the Cowboys offseason was certainly interesting. Mike McCarthy's job was in serious jeopardy, but the Cowboys decided to ride out the last year of his deal, and now here we are. The Cowboys officially have a lame duck coach. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. A very interesting report out of Dallas from apparent inside sources say that McCarthy is getting fed up with this whole thing, particularly Jerry Jones. Let's get into it. A report from Tyler Dune, someone that used to work for Bleacher Report as a writer, now a self-employed journalist, said that he's talked to a number of Cowboys sources. The sources listed are former personnel members. The sources that he listed are former personnel members. I assume, speaking to those that are still in the building, you'll kind of see more as we get into these quotes. But I wanted to talk about it because it's not a far-fetched theory or belief that this is the thought process going around the Cowboys building, because it's certainly going on with the fan base. First, let's talk about McCarthy as a lame duck coach. Former Cowboys personnel man said, at least give him a 1-year extension. You may not have to give him another 5 years, but at least extend them out 1 year and extend all of the coaches 1 year to give them a level of security. And I get that quote and pretty much agree with what this guy is saying. Having a coach that has won 36 games in the past 3 seasons on a 1-year kind of prove-it deal probably isn't the best way to go in terms of culture, all of these coaches trusting each other, just the organization as a whole. Giving McCarthy a 1-year extension, though, I'm not really sure makes anybody feel that much better, because if the Cowboys inevitably fall on their face this season, McCarthy's likely gone, because he was brought here to win a Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl winning head coach. He had a ton of experience. He brought his guys with him. I think regardless if you gave him a 1-year deal or not, this is going to make it or break it for him. But I do get what this person is saying. You don't want a guy sitting there every single game, every single moment, thinking about how his job is on the line. If the Cowboys end up 2-6, 2-7, it's going to be a conversation because McCarthy is in the last year of his contract. Dune continues, multiple people high up in the organization indicate that current players are more concerned about Jerry Jones than their own head coach. They know that ownership can undermine the head coach at any moment. So that means you can get a talented team like they've had, a Cowboys personnel source says, but they're going to underachieve when the coaches can't influence the players the way that they need to. Now, this guy is an apparent insider source, but this quote I'm kind of split on, and I'll explain just a little bit. A majority, and I won't say all of them because that's too much of a blanket statement, I think like playing for Mike McCarthy. We saw the reaction when the Cowboys brought him back. Wanye Thomas, Jake Ferguson, and others tweeted about it. McCarthy can influence a team. You don't just have 3 12-win seasons and not earn the respect of the locker room, the guys in that locker room, because it is pretty much the same set of guys. The culture is still together. Now, people are obviously more worried about Jerry because him and his son are pretty much the active GMs. It's not great, right? They make big decisions regardless if we like it or not, if the players like it or not, the coaching staff, whatever. So yes, players are more afraid of Jerry. That is true. If the Cowboys start 2-6, 2-7, then everyone's starting to look at Jerry like, what's going to happen? But doesn't that happen with every single organization if the team starts to really sputter? You look at upper management because at the end of the day, they make personnel decisions. They make coaching decisions. I'm not saying what Jerry and Steven are doing is right. Obviously, they're not. They draft well, but other than that, they don't really manage the team all that well, including free agency, coaching staff, and stuff like that. And that's why I think McCarthy is fed up. McCarthy's doing it the best he can. Some of the people I've talked to have said that he's getting fed up with it a little bit. And I can 100% understand why McCarthy feels this way. He has 1 year left on his deal. There were no big moves in free agency, no moves to really improve the team beyond the draft, and hoping that second and third year players begin to develop and turn into those guys. Do we think that McCarthy really cares about the salary cap? Absolutely not. I assume that he's in the mindset of Super Bowl or bust, more so now than he has been the past couple years. There's no room to building this thing back up if it flops in 2024. I'm sure in the back of his mind, he wanted to sign every single free agent that hit the open market. Why wouldn't he? The Cowboys are not big spenders in free agency. They had room to improve this offseason, and all the improvements that they did make are really just projecting guys to step up and play better. They didn't go all in. They didn't give Mike a last real chance to really go in here and compete for a Super Bowl. Now, he does have a roster that can win 10 to 12 games, but based on what we saw go wrong in the playoff game, the Cowboys didn't really add anything to get over that hump. And that's frustrating for just about anyone in that building, including Mike McCarthy. My frustration comes from, if this is a make it or break it type year for Mike McCarthy, why not give him every single chance to succeed? And a lot of frustration for Cowboys fans boils down to what Jerry said in the offseason. He should have never said that all-in quote. It was bad. The Cowboys aren't all in. Jerry's definition of all in is pretty much, let's see what we got in Dak and Mike, and that will decide our future, their future. But newsflash, Jerry, you don't control either of their future beyond 2024 because they're not under contract. If another team offers them, or they're just so pissed off that they don't care what you offer them, they'll leave. I mean, if we're being honest, I don't think Jerry really has any sort of leverage in this situation. I genuinely think that Mike could go get a job tomorrow if the Cowboys decided to move on. I don't think this is his last head coaching job if he doesn't want it to be. He's won 36 games in 3 years. Hasn't had the playoff success, but he has 36 regular season wins. A lot of teams would kill for that. Now, before we go, I am in the process of creating a training camp guide to help you guys keep up with every player, every position battle, and it'll be available to anyone that signs up for my weekly newsletter. It's no spam, just straight Cowboys news, plus a training camp guide. Click the link in the pinned comment, sign up, and your guide will be available before the beginning of training camp. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.